So in this exercise, I have a yoga mat underneath my front lower ribs and under my pelvis. I'm looking to make sure my chest wall is free. And I'm thinking of inhaling into my back, into my armpits, and breathing my chest wall down towards the ground. And then I'm exhaling and letting everything kind of relax and compress towards the ground. So I'm using gravity in my favor to help push those ribs back and open that chest wall. I'm inhaling in that chest wall to help those shoulder blades slide back and just helping to unstick the top part and the lower part of my front ribs. I can add a little bit of a gentle shoulder blade squeeze and retraction and pull back as I go to exhale to help use the backside scapular retractors to further help pull me forward and open my chest with it. In this next one, I'm set up on forearms and knees with my hips right over my knees and my shoulders right over my elbows. Throughout the movement, I'm making sure my arm bone here is staying vertical. I'm thinking about my collarbone broadening and shoulder blades sliding back towards my spine. And I'm thinking about keeping those front lower ribs pulled back to make sure my back doesn't arch and ribs don't flare as my shoulder blades pull back. Then I'm going to push out through my armpits and pinkies and feel my shoulder blades broaden, lifting my rib cage up towards the ceiling. The whole time I'm thinking like there's a laser pointer in the center of my chest pointed straight down, so it doesn't tip down or tip up, but just goes straight up and down. At parts that feel sticky, I can pause and thinking about inhaling a little bit more into the area of restriction and then exhaling and trying to sink down into it, and then go the other direction with it. As I go down, it's important to think about my armpits melting and not pulling my shoulder blades back. This is going to allow for eccentric control of my serratus and really help with unsticking those shoulder blades. In this next exercise, I'm going to use a wall for reference to help keep my ribs down. I'm going to have the back of my shoulders and my pelvis against the wall, but not worry about my head, thinking just about being long and tall. I have a band here that I'm pulling apart to feel my chest wall open and shoulder blades slide back. I'm going to inhale into my chest wall and armpits, and then exhale my ribs back, keeping that chest wall open, maybe pulling my shoulder blades back a little bit more. I can do this with just pure retraction and holding it in different positions, or I can do it as I take my arms up and overhead and then back down. So as I'm going up and overhead, I'm pulling to open my chest wall, but I'm still letting my shoulder blades rotate up and through my armpits and elbows without letting my ribs flare and my back leave the wall, and then I'm coming back down. At any point if things feel sticky, I can pause and use that breath to further improve the mobility and disassociation of my scapula from my rib cage.